Hey, what's happening? Happy Sunday, and here are your news updates. A man was sentenced to 18 months in prison after dialing the wrong number while trying to call a hitman to assassinate his own son. ADT has offered a 100,000 Rand cash reward for information that leads to the arrest of convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester, who escaped from prison after faking his own death last year. And also, going back to great fathers, a man was arrested after mistakenly robbing his own son at an ATM. Let's get into it. My name is Tutu Marengula. It's Mzansi in 5. Let's start off with Glasgow, Scotland, where a 45-year-old man was sentenced to 26 months in prison after attempting to rob his own son. According to reports, the 17-year-old victim was at an ATM to withdraw £10, which is about 220 rands. He retrieved his money, put his card in his pocket, and when he turned to leave, he felt something against the side of his face. He was pinned up against the wall by the neck. The boy felt a large kitchen knife pressed against his face. Now, the perpetrator, or better yet, the perpetrator, demanded that the boy give him all his money, all £10. The boy recognized his father's voice, pulled down his scarf, and asked, "Dad, what are you doing?" To which the father responded, "I don't care. I'm desperate." Fortunately, the young man was able to get away from his father, got home, and told his grandmother about the ordeal, which I imagine went down somewhat like this. "Hey, yo, Mima, just ran into Dad. This nigga tried to rob me." Despite what you might have heard, that's actually how they speak in Scotland. The authorities were alerted and the father was arrested. After initially denying the allegations leveled against him, he finally confessed. And like I mentioned, he'll be in prison for 26 months, over £10, which is about 220 rands, which works out to 8 rand and 46 cents per month in prison. Moving on, private security firm Fidelity ADT has offered a 100,000 Rand cash reward for information that leads to the arrest of Thabo Bester. Bester, who is commonly known to South Africans as the Facebook rapist, was serving 2 life sentences in prison for multiple cases of rape and at least 1 murder. Back in 2011, Bester would pose as an international model, scout to lure women in, only to sexually assault and then rob them. In May 2022, it was presumed that Bester had died after a body was found burnt beyond recognition in his prison cell, only for someone to take a picture of a man that looked just like him a few months later at Woolworths in Sandton. This guy's a genius. Break out of prison and then live in the Beverly Hills of South Africa. No one's going to recognize me. It's not like I'm a murderer. After an autopsy was done, it was confirmed that the burnt body was not actually his. Now, over this last week, a lot more information has come out over Bester's escape. First of all, I need to mention that the prison that he escaped from, Glasgow Prison in Bloemfontein, is a public prison that up until this week was privately managed. In other words, it was a for-profit state prison. And let's just put Bester aside for a moment and think about that. For-profit state prison. Those are words you never want to hear in a constructed English sentence, because it suggests that there is a private company that is subsidized by the government to manage a prison with the incentive to lock up or keep as many people locked up for the purpose of making more money. But we'll talk about the prison industrial complex another time. Now, another interesting discovery that was made this week was that of Sinowe Matswara. Look, the African names get me as well sometimes. Sinowe Matswara. If you're Tswana, please tell me how I say that. Now, Matswara is a former supervisor and prison guard at Mangahu. He was dismissed last year when suspicions arose that he had aided Bester's escape. Now, there's no solid evidence linking him to the escape, except for the fact that he wasn't scheduled to work that day. But prison logs show that he actually clocked in because, he just wants to work for free. Plus, a few months before the escape, my man's bought himself a brand new VW T-Roc 2022 model cash. But lucky for him, he was smart enough to cover his tracks, be discreet, and not post about it online. When asked for comments from a Times Live reporter this week, Matswara cursed at her, got into his VW T-Roc 2022 model, and drove away in his VW 2022 model. But like I said, ADT is offering 100,000 Rand reward for anyone that can give them information leading to Bester's arrest. 100,000 Rands. That's enough for a down payment for a VW T-Roc 2022 model. And finally, a 58-year-old man from Ohio was sentenced to 18 months in prison after he mistakenly left a voicemail seeking a hitman to kill his adult son. The only problem, well, okay, amongst other problems, he dialed the wrong number. Also, who leaves a voicemail for an assassination? Good day there, sir. I wish to inquire about your services, but I seem to have gone to voicemail, so I shall leave a message. I require a hitman or an assassin, someone to kill my son. Yes, my name is Desmond Ramsey. Call me at your earliest convenience. This is my number. Once again, my name is Desmond Ramsey. Want to get my son killed. The father, Desmond Ramsey, pleaded guilty to aggravated assault. He was initially charged with 2 counts of complicity, which carried a potential life sentence. Ramsey said he had been drinking heavily and gotten into a dispute with his son the night he made the phone calls. He said he did not believe the plan would go through. That's my baby boy, he said. He added, I would die before I'd let anything happen to my children. Okay. Ramsey believed that he was calling his friend to try to scare his son. But he said that after leaving him alone in the interrogation room, he could be heard on surveillance footage saying to himself, I'm really going to go to prison for a drunken mistake. That's actually like a perfect example of the prison industrial complex. This guy made a stupid mistake. He was trying to scare his son, and as a result, he's going to prison for 12 months. Now, he's reconciled with his son, right? He was never going to kill him. The cops did speak to the friend he was trying to call, and the friend said, no, he's an idiot. I would never kill his kids because I know them. I'm their uncle. And instead of trying to find another way of helping this family with therapy or, psychiatric help, they sent the man to prison for 12 months. It costs $67 per day in Ohio for a prisoner, which works out to about $25,000 a year. That $25,000 could be reinvested into his family. It could be reinvested into the community, into mental health. Instead, the taxpayer is going to pay for him to go to prison, and the people that make money from that is the privately owned company that manages the prison. So yeah, anyway, that's it. Kind of a depressing end. Have a good day. My name is Tutu Marangula. It's Mzansi 5.